Who blew up Nord Stream?
You for sure.
I was busy that day.
You personally may have an alibi, but the CIA has no such alibi.
Seorang jurnalis independen asal Amerika, Tucker Carlson, membuat pemerintah Amerika dan media barat kepanasan. Sebuah video wawancaranya dengan Presiden Rusia Vladimir Putin yang diunggah pada tanggal 9 Februari lalu melalui akun X Tucker Carlson hingga kini telah ditonton lebih dari 207 juta kali.
Do you have evidence that NATO or the CIA did it?
You know, I won't get into details, but people always say in such cases, look for someone who is interested. But in this case, we should not only look for someone who is interested, but also for someone who has capabilities. Because there may be many people interested, but not all of them are capable of sinking to the bottom of the Baltic Sea and carrying out this explosion. These two components should be connected: who is interested and who is capable of doing it.
Sejatinya wawancara berdurasi sekitar selama 2 jam tersebut ditujukan untuk menyuguhkan sudut pandang Rusia mengenai perang Rusia-Ukraina. Sebab selama 2 tahun berlangsungnya perang tersebut, masyarakat dunia selalu disuguhkan narasi-narasi versi Barat dan Amerika.
If you had evidence, and presumably given your security services, your intel services, you would, that NATO, the US, CIA, the West, did this, why wouldn't you present it and win a propaganda victory?
In the war of propaganda, it is very difficult to defeat the United States, because the United States controls all the world's media and many European media. The ultimate beneficiary of the biggest European media are American financial institutions. Don't you know that? So it is possible to get involved in this work, but it is cost prohibitive, so to speak. We can simply shine the spotlight on our sources of information, and we will not achieve results.
Namun pemerintah Amerika dan media-media mainstream Barat kompak melabeli Tucker sebagai pengkhianat negara.
Tucker Carlson showed up in Moscow this week to interview Vladimir Putin. It turned out to be anything but an interview. Putin droned on for 2 hours and 7 minutes, while Tucker sat there like an eager puppy.
Putin has been busy, making it a bit awkward that last week noted idiot Tucker Carlson sat down with Putin for a fawning interview in which Tucker was so docile, even Putin later made fun of him.
Selain itu, politisi senior Amerika Hillary Clinton menyebut bahwa mantan pembawa acara Fox News tersebut telah berhasil menjadi idiot yang berguna bagi pihak Rusia.
Well, it shows me what I think we've all known. He's what's called a useful idiot. I mean, he's like a puppy dog. You know, he somehow has, after having been fired from so many outlets in the United States, I would not be surprised if he emerges with a contract with a Russian outlet, because he is a useful idiot. He says things that are not true. He parrots Vladimir Putin's pack of lies about Ukraine.
Meski demikian, respon apresiatif malah ramai diungkapkan oleh masyarakat Amerika melalui akun media sosial mereka. Mereka menilai bahwa apa yang dilakukan Tucker ini sangat diperlukan untuk menyingkap tabir kebohongan media dan elit Barat yang selama ini mereka tutup rapat.
Tucker Carlson goes to Moscow and interviews Vladimir Putin. I watched the entire 2 hours, and it was pretty amazing. We in the West should have been exposed to this side of the story a long time ago. I'm glad that Tucker Carlson did it.
Overall, I thought it was a very good interview, and I'm really grateful to Tucker Carlson for giving us the opportunity to hear what Vladimir Putin thinks. And it's going to be more difficult for the mainstream media to demonize Putin, because watching this interview, you're definitely not going to come away with the idea that Putin is some kind of evil Hitler reincarnated. You're going to get the idea that he's a pragmatic, wise statesman who's doing what he perceives to be in Russia's interests. That he's
Pernyataan senada juga turut disampaikan secara langsung melalui liputan berita GB News oleh komentator politik dan aktivis Amerika Candace Owens.
This is what I refer to as the political commentariat, where he's incredibly wise, and he is also not just wise, he's brave. There obviously has been a lot of lies sold to us. You can just go back and look at what the mainstream media was saying on the first day that Russia invaded Ukraine. If you actually don't have access to true information, they're not telling you what the other president that's involved in this conflict is saying. If you dare to share that information, you're being called a Putin puppet.
Tucker sendiri berulang kali menegaskan tugasnya sebagai jurnalis independen adalah membagikan informasi yang berimbang dan menyerahkan penilaian akhir kepada masyarakat.
We're in journalism. Our duty is to inform people. 2 years into a war that's reshaping the entire world, most Americans have no idea why Putin invaded Ukraine or what his goals are now. They've never heard his voice. That's wrong. Americans have a right to know all they can about a war they're implicated in, and we have the right to tell them about it because we are Americans too.